Hello everybody, Captain VFC here with a build review. Today we're looking at some armour. Look at this. Armour from me? What is this? This insane world. Yes, but it is also ridiculously tiny. The Matilda II, incidentally, is probably my favourite armoured fighting vehicle. I go through phases of enjoying tanks, and I was in one when I was walking through Hannon, so I saw this and went, "Oh yes, let me buy a little Matilda." So it's such a wafer-thin box that we will not be doing an unboxing because that could be a short. No, we're just going to go straight in. We're going to show you the whole build, and there is also no, what's the word I'm thinking of? History of the Matilda. It's just going to force me to make another one and do a proper history of it there. So I'm just throwing it around. Look, can you tell that it's empty? That I've already made the thing? Oh, spoilers. Boop. Inside the box we have the instruction sheet, which is one side dedicated entirely to the art of tactic in 3 languages, and the other an exploded diagram. Now, for some reason I didn't film these sprues, so this is the only time you're going to see them. There are 2 of them, and the instructions said that there are 10 parts, but I actually only counted 9. An awful lot of space on those sprues, and the box is wafer thin, and again doesn't really have any information about the tank at all. It's just, here's the art of tactic game, and here's an exploded diagram, and roughly what your thing should look like afterwards. So, we can now see how much space there is on the sprues as I'm cutting off a couple of parts, which are the tracks. It does say that this is a snap fit kit, but I will be using glue, and I want that fit to be very nice, so I am filing and sanding everything down. Do I think that's really necessary? No, I don't think it is. But I did it anyway, so there. Parts were mostly fitted together first, so snapped in place, and then extra thin can run in between those seams to cement it in fully. There are a couple of places, like these tracks, where actually I did use my usual Revell contactor, but even then I still tended to go over everything with the Tamiya extra thin. That would be my key bit of advice with gluing this kit, is because it's a snap together kit, literally just snap it together, run some thin glue in it, boom, sorted. You're not going to get the fit wrong. And certainly there was no fit issue with this, which is such a relief. Had there been any fit issues, I would be questioning, yo, Zvezda, what is the point of this? So with the hull and the tracks in place, this is the rear engine detail going on the back, and those 4 parts are the hull. That is it. Left track, right track, hull, engine detail. Oh, and I suppose the top, which is here, that I'm about to stick on. I did also lose the footage for the turret, which you can now see there next to the extra thin. When I say lose, I think I just didn't press record. I think I did a little walkthrough of what came out of the box, and just didn't actually bother recording it. But there we go. They are the 9 pieces that I could count, all glued together. So on to painting already. Look at this, we're whizzing through. And it is the Life Colour Contour scheme that I am doing. So this is actually a North African campaign paint set for both paintbrush and air paintbrush. I lost the words in my head then. It's still early, it's before 3 p.m. Anyway, so back to the professionalism. There we go, yes. The turret is so small that I had to use tweezers to hold it. It's just held in with a pin at the bottom, tweezers around the pin, that is fine, and then brushing in all the nooks and crannies as well inside the hull. Inside the skirts, that's the word I was thinking of, the skirts. This is the first time I've brush painted with this set. In fact, it's the first time I've used this set. I kind of was using this tank as a tester for something much bigger that we use these paints, so it was convenient. Jumping ahead then to the silver grey. This has been very carefully masked with imitation Tamiya tape, because at the time I couldn't buy any Tamiya tape. Very carefully masked. I couldn't actually mask both sides at the same time because they come to a point right down the middle and the tape just isn't thin enough. So I just masked one side and a bit, and then the rest, and then very, very, very carefully around all of that engine deck detail on the rear. This was fiddly. This is me making my life harder. I could have just painted it one colour. And now what we see there next to it, that is the Tamiya 135th Matilda, which I was using for painting instructions, as the Zvezda kit has no painting instructions. And so what I've done is I've just lined up both of the hulls, both of the turrets, and I'm carefully masking in the same pattern on the assumption that the Tamiya one is correct. I made it a few years ago. I'm pretty sure I double-checked that the camouflage markings were more or less right, Either way, I'm going for consistency. And then the slate grey colour. Is it slate grey or is it slate green? It just says slate. The slate colour is then painted on in exactly the same way as the silver grey was before it. Painting something like this small, requires absolutely perfect masking, and as you can see, yeah, I scuffed it. It's a little bit scruffy over the edges. But, to be fair, nothing I couldn't tidy up afterwards, and that is what I did off camera before moving to the next step, which is these tracks on the front, this spare track that it's got strapped on either side, and of course the main tracks as well. They were given a coat of black. The tracks on the hull were dry brushed then with silver, and the tracks that were in use were actually painted a gunmetal-y mix of black and silver. I was trying to go for some sort of sense of new track being on the top. Honestly, I don't think it really worked at all, but hey, you don't know if you don't try. Now, there are no decals whatsoever with this kit, so I wanted to paint the cavalry markings on it. So using Hataka Insignia White and a small square-ish blob of masking tape, just slap a little bit of white paint in there, which is the same on the turret, and then freehanding a red stripe roughly squarely in the middle. Yes, I know, I'm freehanding it. This can only go one way, and that is wrong, right? No, I would like to point out that this tank overall is under 6 centimetres in length. That's just a little over 2 inches for those people that work in old money. So the camera is very much higher resolution than your eyes if you see it up close. Speaking of the finished product, there we go. So the other thing that I didn't film me doing was adding a little bit of weathering. This was really just a fine grey wash just running down out of the gaps in the skirts, and just a general overall splattering of an even finer version of the wash in all the nooks and crannies. I didn't even paint where the exhaust was, it was so small I don't think it needed it. But there, this is the result. What do you think? I managed to put this thing together in a couple of sessions. It didn't take more than a few hours work, and for the result that I got out of it, absolutely worth it. 10 out of 10. It looks about right. I haven't measured it dimensionally, so I can't tell you, yes, this is 100% what a Matilda II looks like, but it's about right. But yeah, this is a really interesting little series. Now, I don't care about the war game that is related to it, but there is a wide array of vehicles and planes available in this series, so I might get more. You may have seen in the pictures there that it was an extra KV2. That is the only other one that I have done, but yeah, I'll keep an eye out for them and maybe pick them up. They're affordable, so yes. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, yell abuse at me in the comments if you're that way inclined, and oh, also I have a Twitch. Yes, that. Goodbye.